I was 22 when I had my first child, a daughter. Ever since I can remember, I've wanted to be a mother of a son. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was expectant that it would be a boy. But when the ultrasound confirmed a girl, I was embarrassingly disappointed. After my daughter was born, I immediately got over my disappointment, and my daughter became the love of my life. I learned that raising children was difficult, and I made the decision not to have any more. Without Jesus as the center of my first marriage, it ended in divorce, and I ultimately married another divorcee 4 years after my daughter was born. My husband had 2 daughters of his own, and between us, we were raising 3 girls. Though we both never wanted any more children, we agreed we had always wanted a son. And looking back, I believe that was a God-given desire in the both of us. Our marriage was very difficult, with all the struggles that come from being a blended family, and our past, and that's another testimony in its own. As time went on, my husband and I committed our lives to Jesus, and our desire for a son increased. We wanted something that would unite our 2 families, which seemed so separate. It was as if everything we had was either from his life or mine, but we had nothing together that was ours. After being married for 2 years, we came into agreement to believe God for a son. Being the detail-oriented person I am, I began to research which month of the year more boys were born than girls, how to conceive a boy, and any natural thing we could do to increase our chances of having a son. But when month after month passed without getting pregnant, I began to worry. I was healthy. My husband was healthy. We were both of prime childbearing age. Why was this taking so long? So I called an infertility specialist for a consultation, and while I was on hold, the waiting music being played was Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds. The lyrics sang, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing." And I recognized these lyrics from Scripture. These verses were written from Ecclesiastes by King Solomon, and I knew that was God's way of telling me, nothing is wrong with you, but there is a time I have planned for your son. And I hung up the phone without ever calling them back. No consultation necessary. I knew God had given me his word that we would have a son in due time. No more natural remedies or attempts to conceive a boy. We gave up trying to do things in our own strength and methods and relied on God's promise. On Father's Day of 2014, we found out I was pregnant. That was clearly God's gift to my husband that our son would be a daddy's boy. And God's timing was perfect. We moved across the country from Ohio to Nevada in August of 2014, and I was only 2 months pregnant. Had it been sooner, I would have been too morning sick to make a pleasant journey. And had it been later, I would have been too pregnant to help with any of the move of our things. So this timeline gave us plenty of time to get settled, acquire things for the baby, sort out insurance, and find a good doctor and hospital. Our 13-week ultrasound confirmed it was a boy, and we prayed about his name. We agreed to allow the Lord to name him because he was a gift from the Lord, and we wanted to give him to God. My husband's father had died when my husband was 24. And we felt strongly naming our son after him would unite our families. And early on December 21st, our wedding anniversary morning, I woke up with "Hey Jude" by the Beatles stuck in my head. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I grabbed my Bible and snuck into our closet to read so I wouldn't wake my husband. And the calendar reading for that day was the book of Jude. I laughed out loud and knew God had given us our son's name, Michael Jude, as a wedding anniversary gift. Michael was born on February 21st, 2015, and that was another confirmation from the Lord. 21 is a special number to my husband and me. My birthday is on the 21st, our wedding anniversary is on the 21st, and now our son's birth is on the 21st. He's the promise of unity in our marriage from the Lord, and our promised son.